Welcome back to the Cali G Kitchen. Welcome back to day 97 of your 101 day food and fasting program. Today we are cooking some baked falafels and then a cashew nut curry with basmati rice, and then we're going to put the falafel pieces inside of the curry. This is actually a plant-based recipe if you didn't realise. So if you do want some meat and you want to put some meat into this curry, then please feel free to do so. But today we're keeping it kind of plant-based, just showing you what you can actually do without meat. With that being said, we're going to get started. Going to get started on the falafels. We've got the oven preheated. The oven is preheated to 220 degrees. It's nice and hot now. What I'm going to do, open up my chickpeas, drain them off. We're going to blitz them up, add a load of spices, put them into this Pyrex dish, and they'll go into the oven. So I'm just draining the liquid off of these chickpeas. I'll tell you what I'm going to do actually. This is what I want to show you. Sometimes when you're getting your chickpeas, most of the time, the bottom of them would be like that. And there's some kind of, it's like, I don't know if it came out of the chickpeas and it's a mix with the water, but it's kind of quite slimy in a sense. So all I'm going to do is actually going to rinse these chickpeas from the water that they've already been rinsed in, so there's none of that slimy business happening. I'm going to take my other tin of chickpeas, and remember these. So this falafel that we're doing, this giant falafel that we're actually baking, this is going to do for today's meal and for tomorrow's meal as well. That's why we're using 2 tins of chickpeas. Just going to get these drained off, rinse them off, drain them off. And I tell you what, while those are actually draining off, what we'll do, we're going to start putting the spices into this bowl, herbs and spices. So, first of all, we're going in with, we've got 2 cans of chickpeas there, drained, and I haven't got all of my spices. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, 1, that's 2. 2 tablespoons of oregano. 2 tablespoons of dried oregano going in. 1 and 2. 2 tablespoons of dry basil. 1 and 2. 2 tablespoons of sage. There's 1. Oh shit, nearly. And 2. 2 tablespoons of coriander. Cumin, that is also cumin. Coriander. One tablespoon. Two tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of cumin. 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. Next on the list, 1 teaspoon of garlic granules or garlic powder. So we're going in 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. I'm going to use a little bit less because this is actually dry turmeric extract. This is stronger than regular turmeric. So we're going in with just under a teaspoon of that. And then 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds. Going in with 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds, a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. We also need 2 tablespoons of ground linseed or milled linseed. 1 and 2. And then we're going in with 1 full egg. And this is just going to help it bind all together. So you've got the linseed and the egg to help bind this all together. Just kind of pre-mix that, and then when we get our cashews all blitzed up, we're going to mix all of that in together. So now that our cashews have drained off, we're going to blitz them up. The reason I'm using this instead of like the blender or the NutriBullet is the NutriBullet that I generally use will blitz it up to kind of a paste and it'll be too mushy. We actually want to have, if possible, like little grainy pieces of chickpeas in this, if that makes sense. We are just using this just to kind of blitz them up, but they don't get kind of blitz into a mush. They get blitzed up into pieces like this. Same again, we're just going to do this bit by bit for obvious reasons. The second bit mixed up. And I think I already said, but I've got the oven preheating to 220 degrees. Got our last little bit of chickpeas to blitz up, and then we'll make a start on the curry. I think that's it. Yes. Now we've got our chickpeas blended up. Got all of our spices in there blitzed up. I'm just going to give this a good mix together, and then we'll line the dish with it. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to get right in with my hands just to give this a bit more of a mix up, so we can kind of spread all those spices out evenly. Okay, got our falafel mix there. Before we get that into the oven, we want to, I'm just going to line this Pyrex dish with some oil, just to grease it, just so that the falafel doesn't stick to the bottom of the tray. So we're going to use this, and we want to take just a little touch of coconut oil, and then we're going to just work this around the tray and the dish. And generally when you get falafels, they're usually in little round pieces, and they're usually fried. They usually deep fat fry them, but we're doing them in the oven. So kind of just take this whole falafel mix. You could probably do this in the oven as well. We could like just break this up into pieces and just have little bite-sized pieces. But I'm just going to do the full thing all together. So we're just going to spread this out, flatten it out, and then cut it into pieces. I'm just going to use the good old back of the fingers, knuckles method, just to flatten this down. The reason I also do this as well is just to get an actual feel for the level and the thickness of it all, just to make sure it's all kind of consistent. But yeah, that is your falafel mix. And that's going to go into the oven 20 to 25 minutes. We'll probably check it 20 minutes through, and all you want to do is literally just go like this with a knife, stab it in, pull it out. If the knife's clean, nothing sticking to it, it's generally going to be cooked. So falafel mix going into the oven, 220 degrees. I'm going to put the timer on. Put the timer on. "20 minutes. Start." While that's cooking away in the oven, we will get started on the curry. Curry is very, very simple to do. We're just going to chop up some onions, add some spices, fry them off. Sorry, onions, peppers, some spices. We're going to add some tomatoes, some coconut milk, and then just reduce that all down. Add some cashews, and then add in the baked falafel at the end. Okay. Try to get my bearings again. Over here as well, you'll see that we've got some basmati rice. That is freshly cooked, it's still steaming. 2 cups boiling water, 1 cup basmati rice. Bring to the boil, put the lid on and simmer it for 12 minutes. Once it's cooked, leave the lid on. But you should all know how to do this already, because we are on, what, day 97 out of 101 days. So you should know how to cook this rice by now. But yes, freshly cooked basmati rice. Over here we've got a pan we're going to do the curry, cook the curry in. Just going to start getting some heat into that. Some coconut oil there. Going to go straight in with a tablespoon of coconut oil. Got half an onion here. Just going to remove this skin, slice this up, and then we'll get this into the pan. Straight into the pan with the onion. Got a red pepper here, which I've just washed. I'm going to prep this. Kind of just push the coin. Remember, top and tail. And we just open this out. Run the knife along the inside. Be careful with your fingers. There's our onion and pepper chopped up. Just getting a little bit more heat into that pan, just so we can start frying these off. We need a couple of cloves of garlic. Also got a chilli there which I'm going to throw in. A couple of cloves of garlic. Remove the skin. And straight in with that chopped garlic. That's what I was looking for. A knob of ginger. Just going to tidy this up a little bit. I'm going to finely chop this ginger. Going in with the ginger. Okay. I'm going to get this chilli on the go, then we're going to add the rest of our spices. Going in with our chilli, and then we're going to have a look at the recipe to see what spices we've got going in. I think we've pretty much got the same sort of spices that's just went into the falafel. I do know that we need to get 100 grams of cashews in, which this bag is 200 grams, so I'm going to go in with half of those. Get these in now. I just want to get a little bit of a toasting effect on these cashews. Now we're going to add our spices. So first of all, we've got 2 tablespoons of curry powder. I have been using this, which is a medium one, but I've also got this. That's actually Madras curry powder. That's a hot curry powder. I want to use some of this. I'm going to hope for the best and hope it's not too hot. Yeah, so got a couple of tablespoons of hot curry powder going in. There's 1, and there's 2. In this curry powder, it's got coriander, turmeric, mustard, fenugreek, salt, cayenne pepper, celery seeds, clove, paprika, pepper, onion, garlic, fennel, bay leaf, and that's everything inside that. We also need 2 tablespoons of coriander, dried coriander, 1, 2 tablespoons of cumin, 1 and 2. A teaspoon of garlic powder. We do already have garlic in, but we're going to add just a little touch more. Teaspoon of garlic powder. A tablespoon of turmeric. I'm sure that's supposed to be a teaspoon. So we'll go in with a teaspoon. A tablespoon of mustard seeds. Some cayenne pepper. with some salt and pepper. Okay. I think we ran out of cayenne pepper, so I'm going to use just some of this hot chili powder. This is basically jalapeno seeds that's been smoked and then crushed up into a powder. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a couple of minutes on the heat just to kind of toast these spices a little bit, kind of bring the flavours out. And we also need salt and pepper, nearly forgot. And if you can hear that popping, that means it's time to add the liquid and turn the heat down. That is the mustard seeds that's popping there. And that just tells us it's nicely toasted. And now it's time to add our liquids. We've got half a tin of coconut milk going in. And half a tin of chopped tomatoes. And then dead easy, we just mix this up, give this a good mix, get all those flavours working together. We're going to bring this to the boil in a second once it starts bubbling, and then we'll just turn it down until we're ready to serve. I know we're actually missing one last little thing, one last little one last ingredient. We want a teaspoon of corn flour. You want a little splash of water. And as always, we're going to use this for our thickener. So literally only just got a tiny touch there. And we just mix it with a little bit of cold water first of all, just to take out those lumps. And then all we're going to do is just pour that in here. And that's just going to help this all thicken up. Okay, time to just turn this down. I'm going to pop the lid on. Okay. We've got another 4 minutes left on the timer. And maybe got another 5 minutes left on top of that. So I'm going to end this video here now, end part 1 here now. Tidy up a little bit, and then we'll be back in 5 minutes or so for part 2. See you again soon. Goodbye for now.